Cal versus Auburn, a hinge game for both teams. Let's talk about what this means for both of them and give a prediction at the end. Auburn, their offense looked electric versus Alabama A&M. They won 73-3, and to be honest, I was blown away. This is a team that lost to New Mexico State last year. The fact that they could come in such dominant fashion and show off their offensive firepower to the rest of college football this year, really impressive stuff. Hugh Freeze should never be doubted as a play caller on offense. I do have a couple of critiques for him, but right now, all the praise. He did a great job, but did he do too good of a job? Here comes the criticism. Auburn did not have a drive over 6 plays. And while obviously some people look at that and they go, wow, they were that dominant, they had all these drives under 6 plays, they are just one of the most dynamic offenses in college football. That is not going to be how it works when you play a Cal, an Alabama, a Georgia, you name it. You're not going to have these drives where you have 1-play touchdowns. You got to get some reps out there on meaningful downs where you draw up a run play to gain 5 yards, and that run play gets executed and you gain 5 yards. When you just have a 40-yard bomb because your 5-star receiver can torch the 2-star from Alabama A&M, it's not very helpful. Auburn had 0 drives over 6 plays and 8 drives under 5 plays. They had 10 plays over 20 yards, which when you think about where they were last year, that's great. But their time of possession, I think, was under 20 minutes. And when you're playing a 60-minute football game, that's not great. The Auburn defense, though, was insanely good, considering that they had to play against Alabama A&M for a majority of this game. They had 36 rushes. Alabama A&M had 36 rushes. Auburn only allowed 36 yards on the ground. Great stuff. The X factor for this Auburn team is the defensive line. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. Let's talk about Cal, though, real quick. Cal didn't look that great versus UC Davis. Jaden Ott had 2 touchdowns, but under 50 yards rushing, and the run game was very disappointing. UC Davis had 6 tackles for loss, a lot of those on critical 3rd and 4th down plays. I think that Cal's got a problem here. Red flag goes up there. The game felt so much closer than it was. Cal won 31-13. The defense looked pretty good. They created 3 turnovers and only allowed, I think, 7 points. Cal had a fumble on the 8-yard line, and UC Davis picked that up and returned it for a touchdown. Obviously can't blame that one on the defense. But Fernando Mendoza, he's a sophomore quarterback and started maybe half the season last year. He needs more time. And to me, there's no wow factor there right now. And I think that is where Cal struggles, especially in this game versus Auburn. So let's talk about my prediction. Cal is going to be forced to pass the football. That Auburn defensive line is not going to let Jaden Ott go crazy in between the tackles. He's more of an outside-the-box kind of guy anyways, but I think Auburn's defense is just that dynamic. They're going to shut down the run game, and Auburn's offense is better than last year. I think Auburn's offense averaged like 26 points per game. I think they're a step ahead of that. We'll call it like 30-ish points per game, but all that being said, we're going to see flashes of Auburn's explosiveness that we saw last game, but it will be toned down a little bit because you're playing a team probably 2 or 3 times better than Alabama A&M. The Cal offense is docile in this game to me. I think the only way that they can stay competitive is if that defense continues to make plays and get turnovers. So my final score prediction is Auburn 27, Cal 13. Auburn went to Cal last year and won 14-10. I think the fact that Cal has to travel all the way to Auburn, their team is not that much better than they were last year. It speaks volume. Another interesting fact, Sam Jackson, the starting quarterback for Cal last year, actually transferred to Auburn and is now like a 3rd-string wide receiver for the team. That was just something I thought was interesting, but Cal has got a young quarterback, a not dominant offensive line, and a defense who's going to be forced to come out possession after possession and expect to make a game-saving play. I don't think that's going to work. I think that dam is going to break pretty early on. Auburn wins 27-13. I think Jarquez Hunter, the running back for Auburn, is going to have a field day. Look for him to have at least 80 rushing yards and a touchdown. So that's going to do it for my Auburn versus Cal prediction. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.